Oh boy, I'm almost done prepping D&D. I've got some cool locations, some great NPCs, some killer fights, and some real humdingers for loot. I know just what will tie this all together.
Stop right there.
Jesus.
You were about to Google puzzles and then put them in your D&D game, weren't you?
Yeah, but I haven't yet.
Then I'm not too late.
What's going on?
I need you to listen closely because I don't have a lot of time. I'm you, from the future.
Oh, how many subscribers do we have?
Can it? I need you to focus. This is important. It's about the puzzles.
Okay, I'm listening.
Just please stop. There are so many cooler ways to break up the pace and have non-combat encounters.
What are you talking about? Puzzles are great. You're crazy.
How about I just show you what happens with a time vision?
Time vision? Come on, that's not a real thing.
Time vision. This is what we imagine when we put the puzzle into the game. Of course, the heaviest thing in the castle is the burden of leadership, the crown. As you speak the answer aloud, the stone slab grinds open, allowing you entry to the good king's tomb at last. I feel rewarded for my cleverness.
Good for me. And good for the DM who put the riddle in there.
Here's what really happened.
You are delusional if you think the stone the castle is made of is not the heaviest thing in the castle. Why are we even having this conversation? No freaking way. Gold is way more dense than stone, and the king has loaded the heaviest thing in the castle. I cast Dispel Magic, and then I cast Knock.
It seems the stone resists your knock spell. You will have to...
55 Thunderclap, 55 Firebolts, 55 Acid Splash, 55 Ray of Fire, Mold Earth, Mold Earth, Mold Earth, Mold Earth. Okay, I think I see what you mean. By the way, I know questions about the future are usually off limits, but where did you get that shirt?
Oh, this? I got it during Into the AM's Black Friday sale, which runs from November 10th to November 30th. Even in my dark, twisted timeline, you can go to intotheam.com/ADHDM or use the coupon code ADHDM at checkout to get a 10% discount on top of their already insane Black Friday discounts. And you help me, future ADHDM, by supporting the channel.
Wow. Form flatter. High quality materials. Henleys, I'm just like Nathan Drake for real. That's what I'm talking about. intotheam.com/ADHDM.
I love future ADHDM. Anyway, that's just one puzzle. There are like a million others I could use. There are even some in Tasha's Guide to Everything.
Dear Lord, no. All of them are just alphabet ciphers that make your players walk aimlessly all over the room, obsessing over how to spell everything. Seriously, of the 13 puzzles in that book, 10 of them are alphabetizing and spelling things. What's up with that? Do they want players to run into a magically sealed door and think, I know, the alphabet?
Why are puzzles so hard to get right?
I'm glad you asked. Luckily, I've prepared a little presentation.
Didn't you say you were short on time?
It's starting.
We're gonna do screen mirroring to the TV
Time vision.
If you were playing Mario Kart at my house and you were about to beat me, last lap, last race, then I paused the game and said, actually, if you want to finish this lap, you have to eat a whole head of cabbage in under a minute. My house, my rules. You would rightfully think that was bullshit. That's how it feels when what we think of, and certainly what are published as D&D puzzles, pop up in the game. Not because puzzles test your cabbage speed eating skills, but because the skill set and resources we acquired from the main game have little to nothing to do with the disjointed side challenges. There are three very crucial concepts at play here. First are what Gary Allen Fine, the earliest and most referenced tabletop role-playing sociologist, of which there are far too few. Thank you so much, Satanic Panic, for cutting off a whole field of study for 30 years. But they're what he calls the three frames. Those frames are the player, the game, and the character. If we cannot maintain our presence in all three frames, we are not playing the game. I bet you're beginning to see the issue. When we introduce players to a challenge that they cannot meaningfully engage in frames 2 and 3, we stop playing D&D, and we don't get to go back to playing D&D until it's over. It's not that puzzles and riddles are inherently bad. They're such a staple because we value heroes that are clever as well as powerful, as well we should. There are games centered around puzzles that are incredibly immersive. In Tears of the Kingdom, the puzzles reward you for knowing your powers and items well enough to cheat. Those puzzles are solved by playing the game, not instead of playing the game. In D&D, stopping the party in their tracks so a hologram of a wizard can say, "What can go up a chimney down, but not down a chimney up?" asks the players to solve a problem solely in frame 1, which, as we know, stops the game from happening. We even remember this as being distinct from the game, or at least I do. It's the difference between Mornath charmed a bugbear and he just led us through the goblin camp. I was so terrified the whole time they'd catch on and attack us. And Skylar put a one of them lies and one of them tells the truth door in the game, and I remembered the answer because I watched Labyrinth last week. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, whose work is referenced a ton when people talk about the psychology of play, defines a state of concentration and total immersion you're likely already familiar with, the flow state. When we are in the flow state, we suspend our reflective self-consciousness and perception of time. I don't know about you, but that sounds a lot like D&D to me. Throw ADHD and autism into the mix, which I have. And the flow state becomes a crucial part of inhabiting any pleasurable experience without feeling under or overstimulated. And when we're cut off from frames 2 and 3, we are acutely aware of the passage of time, sitting in frame 1, feeling each agonizing second grind past. The reason these kill the game is because we're ignoring that each frame is suited to a different style of problem. Frame 1 problems are like, can I borrow some dice? Uncertain obstacles that our little frame 3 buddies learn about, like how do we kill this vampire, are solved by examining resources in frame 2. Radiant damage, the choice to implement those resources, and how to handle the consequences, like should we accept the vampire's bargain to spare his life, are made in frame 3. And that information makes its way back up to frame 1, where we communicate the results. The cycle is eternal. So how do we make puzzles that engage the players in all 3 frames? Well, the challenge needs to occur diegetically in the game world. The resources the player has in frame 2, namely the stuff on their character sheet or in a rule book, should comprise the majority of the anticipated solution, with flexibility to allow for unanticipated consequences. There are also 3 really easy to implement types of puzzles to build with this in mind. The 3 pillars of D&D 5th edition are combat, exploration, and role-playing. So think of combat puzzles as this monster has a vulnerability, and it will go a lot easier if you learn that vulnerability and orchestrate the situation to expose it. It can even get more crunchy and deliberate, bringing in a really obvious exception to the rules to see how the characters interact with them. Imagine a monster like those early Final Fantasy bosses, resisting magic damage and weapon damage alternately, turn to turn, with a nice color-coded cue. For exploration puzzles, Val over at Corkboards and Curiosities has a perfect example of this with her sleeping room. Put short, the players must pass through a room that will not bear any light source, and even smothers dark vision. The texture of the room is squishy. Creating a light source in the room causes a hostile reaction and some psychic damage, but it calms down in the darkness. As the DM, we can put in an intended solution, which there's one in the video. I won't spoil it for you so you can see it for yourself after this video is over. But we can also reward the players when they look at their character sheets, think about how their character would respond, and create a solution of their own. Maybe they or their familiar can obtain blind sense, or maybe they just want to flood the room with light, hostile reactions be damned, and send in the tank. Maybe they can cast Detect Thoughts to commune with the room. These are all solutions that could occur to different types of players as they examine their resources. If their plan doesn't solve the problem, we can give them the next best thing, an unintended consequence. Find out what happens at the same time the players do. For role-playing puzzles, all we really have to do is set up a social situation with no clear right and wrong choice and let the players, as their characters, reconcile the pros and cons of those choices with one another. I ran a one-shot where the players had to act out a scene from a historical play to quiet the ghosts of the actual people from the story, that the history they knew didn't line up with reality. The play was written about the popular version of the story, and the party had to uncover the scandalous truth if they wanted to quell the restless dead. I ran this for 2 groups. One leaned way into investigation and research, interviewing older townspeople, doing a deep dive at the library. The other seized control of a ghost with an Oathbreaker paladin and made them spill the beans. Both groups then faced the same choice. You now have this information, which reveals a dark secret about a powerful family and exonerates their hated rivals. What are you gonna do with it? Group 1 had a bard noble who was a member of said powerful family. She made it her mission to make amends with those hated rivals, revealing the truth and ushering in a generation of peace. Group 2 said, sweet, blackmail, and proceeded to extort the heck out of the powerful family. Compare those examples to most other puzzles, especially those published in official books, where there is a single correct solution. And the best possible fail state is that a monster attacks you or something explodes. The worst and more common fail state is that nothing happens. Because if you want to get past this part, you have to just stand there and keep thinking about the Latin alphabet. Maybe you disagree, and the Mother 3 T-pose puzzle in Curse of Strahd is one of your most cherished game memories. Or you love riddles where the answer is probably the moon, or maybe a clock. Tear me a new one in the comments. I dare you. Also, this video took me longer than I had planned. Who could have seen that coming? So we're in the final week of Into the AM's Black Friday sale. As a long torso haver, I love that these shirts don't show off my belly button when I reach above my head. They're not paying me for this video, but I do have an affiliate link and coupon code. So anything you buy through those is gonna make the next video a little bit easier with things like software, stock media, and, God's willing, outsourcing a few of these editing tasks.
Man, those are rough. Okay, I think I get it. Puzzles that don't also incorporate the game and the characters in addition to the players, ultimately, even if they're really good on their own, harm the game. I get it now. Everything's gonna be okay. Thanks. Don't thank me. Thank the patrons at patreon.com/ADHDM. What's happening? The dark future has been averted. I fade. But before I go, if you want to hear a real psychologist talk about the benefits of tabletop role-playing games for mental health, you must.
What? What must we do?
Click on this video right here.